Hello guys, what's up and welcome to the new tutorial from the SketchUp Arc Studio. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how we can create realistic render about the exterior design. Let's get to work. I'm going to close the Camtasia in here, so I'm going to maximize the Enscape. As you can see, we have some simple house design about the modern design. So I'm going to press F on my keyboard and switch to the camera number 1 in here. And it takes a little bit time, and after that camera number 1 will be loaded for us, something like this. So I will close it in here and start my job with the visual setting. I'm going to click on the visual setting, turn on the save frame, and use the camera projection about 2-point perspective, because it's really important point in there. So I want to focus more about these house in here, a little bit much more than it, and I will move the visual setting to this part of my job to see better view of my rendering, like that. And when I decrease the field of view, as you can see, we have this type of view about our house, and it's really good for these type of jobs. But if you want to create realistic render, you need these vegetations in your camera, because it can help you to cover your empty areas and make your renders much realistic. My materials in this middle checked before this tutorial, and now I only want to talk about lighting and some other important points about Enscape. My rendering quality is on the high quality, and I'm going to turn on the depth of field. So in the main bar we have depth of field and turn off the autofocus, and now we have some blur imaging there. As you can see, when I increase the depth of field, the bokehs in this render will be increased for us. So I prefer to reduce it and use some focal point about the some number, I think more than maybe 20, so I can play with it to reach to the best result. For example, I want to focus on these edges in my house, and some number about 17.70 can be really good. Depth of field related to these vegetations and blur places. As you can see, when I increase the depth of field, we will have some type of full blur render in here. It can be good, but it not can be realistic, because in the real images we don't have this type of focus. So some normal number about 13% can be really good, or I can decrease it to the 9%. I think something about 10 can be better. In the exposure line, I'm going to increase the exposure a little bit, not too much, something about 56%. And about the outline, we don't need any type of outline right now, but I can increase it to the 7 to create some small details in my render. After that, we have the image bar. In the image bar, I'm going to use auto contrast, and I prefer to increase the saturation a little bit to see more green areas in my render, because it makes my render much beautiful, much realistic. 116% is good, and I want a little bit cold balance or warm balance. It completely depends on you, but cold balance is good. 7100 Kelvin. The effects related to the motion blur and motion blur related to the animation. Right now we don't create any type of animation, so we don't need it. The lens flare is about some type of graphical area, so when I increase the bloom option, as you can see in this part of our building and this side of house, we have some little bit faded sun reflection. So if you want to increase it for your audience, you can increase the lens flare to the 100. But right now it's not effective, because it only works when the sun in front of the camera. So 26% for the lens flare and 3% for the bloom option can make your render much sharper. About the vignette, we have some number about 22, and chromatic aberration is 0. Next bar is the atmosphere. In the atmosphere, you can control the fog option, but I need some clear render, so I'm going to turn it off. Sun brightness can be decreased, for example, and when I decrease the sun brightness, you can see the changes very simple and easy in your render. So keep it in some number about 78, and night sky is not useful because it's the daylight rendering. Shadow sharpness is not really effective in this render because in foreground of the camera we don't have any shadows, only these bushes, and the shadow of them is really normal. 61 maximum is good. Artificial light brightness 142 about the interior spotlights, and the ambient about 64%. In the wind option, I'm going to turn it to the 0, or I can increase it to the 34, but it's not effective totally in your renders because it's only working animations. In the skybox, we have source of the white cubes and it's really good in reflections. But in the clouds, if you want some clear weather and clear sky, you need to turn off the cirrus amount, and now you only have clouds. Right now, if I increase the density of the clouds, something like this, for example 54, and change the variety of them, you can see the changes in the sky real time, very simple and easy. Try to use these type of small clouds for your realistic render. So 47% is really good. And about the longitude or latitude. Longitude related to the cloud's offset in the x coordinate, and latitude is about y coordinate. So when I increase the longitude or play with it, as you can see, we have these changes in our job. If you have these three in this place, I prefer and suggest that turn your clouds behind these trees because it makes your render much better, much realistic. And some number around 4,100 meters is good. Latitude is about the, as you can see, moving in the other side of the coordinates, and I don't want to touch it. 5,000 meters is really good. In the image bar, we don't have anything. In the output, I'm going to turn it to the Ultra HD quality. My file format is the PNG. And in the main bar, I think I don't need to change anything. Everything is good. And now time for the rendering. So I'm going to play with the exposure a little bit, about 57. And in the materials, I don't think this glass can be really realistic. So I'm going to fix it. I'm going to click on the Enscape material editor, paint bucket, sample paint, and pick up my texture. So I will change the main color of it a little bit gray, dark gray. And in the reflections, as you can see, when I increase the roughness, I can fade my unformed reflections, as you can see. So when I increase the roughness about my glasses, as you can see, the glass will be a little bit faded about the color in some places like that. So roughness is about 26, and the specular can be increased to the 38. It helps you to manage your reflections. When I play with the refractive index, as you can see, the place of these reflections will be changed for you. Or I can turn it to the 0 or number 1. I can convert it to the frosted glass to fade some of these bad reflections, and the opacity is about 46%. Something like that helps you to manage your reflections and shadows, but about the glass, as you can see, you can add some more settings for realistic results of your job. So everything is good for me. I'm going to click on the screenshot button here and save it on my desktop with some number and press save. If this content is useful for you and if you like this video, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Your subscribe is really important for us. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Please share this video with your architecture friends, and goodbye.